Hi everyone, this is a video about using the partnership bidding tables for practice with your partner, and in particular about setting constraints on the hands generated so that you can practice certain aspects of your system or defense easily. So this is going to start off very easy and then it's going to get more complicated, and if you don't have a programming background, I don't mind if you just watch the first couple of minutes. So we're logged into BBO and we're going to start a bidding table. I'm going to stop everybody knowing I'm doing this because I'm doing a video, and we'll start the table. And the first thing we're going to do is get screen bigger, is work on the deal source. So this is what generates the hands. So normally if you just sit down at the bidding table, you and your partner sit north and south, you'll occasionally put robots in to east and west, and random hands will come up. So we're going to constrain some of those hands, and we're going to do that by setting the constraint set. And for the example, I'm going to make west open a strong no trump, and then we'll see what we can do with that. So we hit the plus button on constraint sets, and for reasons that might become obvious later, I'm just going to set the dealer to west for this hand. And then we'll say north-south always get at least 16 points. And we're going to set some constraints on the west hand. So we're going to say west. We're going to say minimum of 15 points, maximum 17. And he has at least 2 to 4 spades, 2 to 4 hearts. We do allow a 5-card minor, and that's it. So those are the constraints. Now, if I open this up again so I can get this laid out. So we've got our deal source there, and this is sort of live straight away. So if I go on here now, I don't have to sit down. I can do redeal at this point, and I'll see the hands that will be dealt. And there's the first one, and we see immediately we've jumped to board 4, West dealer, and West has a balance 15 to 17. North-south hands are unconstrained other than we've given them some points. And we can just click through redeal to make sure the sorts of hands that we want are being dealt. So we've achieved the first thing. So if we were to sit north-south and play these hands, every hand dealt will be dealt by West, and he'd probably, if the robot feels like it, will open one no trump. So that's a good way of practicing your defense to one no trump. But perhaps we want to add to this that maybe North has a particular type of hand. So let's add another constraint here, constraint 2. So we could rename constraint 1 if we wanted to. The real issue with these constraints is that they're not saved. So, but I'll show you how you can do that. So no trump by West. And constraint 2, we'll click on here, we'll make it North majors. So the hand we're doing is North, and we'll give him at least 10 points, and we'll give him at least 4 spades and at least 4 hearts. Now, this does mean we will get some North hands that are 4-4 in the majors. You might not be that great. Let's do redeal and see what comes up. So again, West has a strong no trump and is the dealer. There's a 6-4 hand, 4-5. So this seems to be working quite well. This would allow us to practice our defense. There's a 4-4 hand. Maybe you wouldn't overcall, but sometimes it's not bad when you're practicing to get hands that don't actually match. So that's the really simple way. What you would also like to do is maybe add a few more hands in. So these constraints are ANDed in computer terms. So both of these constraints must be true. If we go back, so we have constraint set 1. All of those must be true for that constraint set to be used. If we add a new constraint set, then this is an OR. So hands will be generated that match either constraint set 1 or constraint set 2. So let's modify constraint set 2 and we'll demonstrate this. So for constraint set 2, we'll make the dealer east and we'll add a constraint within this and we'll call it weak no trump. And we'll give the east hand 12 to 14 points. And once again, maximum of a 4-card major will allow a 5-card minor. And now we'll generate hands. We should see we either get a hand dealt by west, which is a strong no trump, and north will have at least 4-4 in the majors. And if we deal a few, there's a hand dealt by east. East has got a weak no trump, but you'll notice there's no constraints on the north or the south hand. So perhaps for this one, when this is dealt, we'll go to constraint 2, call this South Hearts. And we'll give South at least 10 points, and we'll say South will have at least 6 hearts. So if we redeal it now, we should either get, so that should be a weak no trump by East, but it isn't. I say it isn't. It does match the criteria. It's 2254, which does fit into our mix, and it is 12 to 14 points. It's just not one that the robot would ever open one no trump. And of course, the robots can't open a weak no trump. So you'd need a third party to help you do that. But you'll see we either get West Steel with a strong no trump, another strong no trump for West, and now weak no trump with East, and South has at least 6 hearts. So maybe the weak no trump with East is a bad idea because the robot would never be able to bid that. So we need a strong no trump for East. So we'll change that to 15 to 17. And then we'll redeal. And now we should see that when East deals, so that's a West deal, when East deals, so these hands are random, of course. So East now has a strong no trump, South has 6 hearts. So now we have a variety of things that can work. So maybe we want to introduce some new thing. Maybe South has 6 hearts, or maybe he has 5 spades and a 4-card minor. A lot of people play 2 suited overcalls. So we could add a new constraint set. And the dealer on constraint set 3 is East. Click check East, uncheck everybody else. And we need to make sure that East again has a strong no trump. So this is a bit repetitive, but it does all work once you understand when conditions are merged. So there's East having a strong no trump, and now we'll add a constraint South major minor. So we'll give South at least 10 points, and we'll say must have 5 spades and 4 diamonds, at least 4 diamonds. So whenever East deals now, there we have South with 5 spades and 4 diamonds. Some of the time he'll have 6 hearts when East deals. That's a West strong no trump, so North has at least 4-4 in the majors. East deals and South here has at least 6 hearts. So it takes a bit of work to build up all the constraints that you want. And if you really want to have a complex environment, then you need to use, instead of these constraints, you need to use the Advanced tab. And in the Advanced tab, it's quite complicated. I'll put a link in the description about how to use this or how to get help. This is just a programming language essentially that says these hands are allowed and these are not. But this is much more powerful tool for, say, allowing spades and either 4-card minor without doing it through the constraint sets. But if you don't have a programming background, then you just have to learn these kind of things. You can cut and paste this into an editor or into a Word file so that you can keep it and use it in the future. So this is what is actually being used. And if you do that, then cut it, save it in a Word program so you can paste it in later. Then you can set who deals it. And normally you'd always go for the same hand and then use these things. But this is quite complicated. Beyond the scope of this video, I might do another one at some point to describe this further. But hopefully that gives you an idea of how you can start to put some constraints on your hands.